The year was 1943. A year that would be etched into the annals of history, not just for the battles fought, but for the extraordinary lengths to which nations would go to secure victory. The world was gripped by the horrors of World War II. Cities lay in ruins and the cries of the innocent echoed through the rubble-strewn streets. The relentless march of war showed no signs of abating. The fate of millions hung precariously in the balance. Every decision, every move could tip the scales towards hope or despair. The world watched with bated breath as the conflict raged on. The Allied forces, battered but not broken, yearned for a decisive victory against Hitler's seemingly unstoppable war machine. Leaders like Churchill rallied their nations, inspiring courage in the face of overwhelming odds. But how could they outmaneuver an enemy obsessed with anticipating their every move? The German war machine was a formidable opponent, its strategies meticulously planned and executed with ruthless efficiency. The answer, as it so often does in times of war, lay in the shadows, in the realm of secrets and deception. Espionage became the silent battleground where minds clashed, and the stakes were nothing less than the future of the free world. British intelligence hatched a daring plan, a gamble so audacious, so outrageous that it pushed the boundaries of imagination. Its name, Operation Mincemeat. This was not just a plan, it was a masterstroke of cunning and creativity. The brainchild of eccentric minds within the British intelligence community, Operation Mincemeat was an intricate web of lies meticulously spun around a single chilling truth: a dead man. This operation would require not just intelligence, but a macabre sense of ingenuity. This was not just any casualty of war. This was a man whose death would serve a purpose far greater than he could have ever imagined in life. His lifeless body would become a pawn in a game of high-stakes deception. This corpse, carefully chosen and meticulously prepared, held the fate of nations in its lifeless hands. Every detail, from the uniform he wore to the documents he carried, was crafted to perfection. This is the story of how a corpse, armed with nothing more than a briefcase full of fabricated secrets, fooled Hitler and changed the course of World War II. It is a tale of audacity, ingenuity, and the lengths to which humanity will go to protect its future. The search for the perfect candidate led them to a London morgue. It was a place where the echoes of the past lingered in the air, and the cold, sterile environment was a stark reminder of the fragility of life. There, amidst the cold steel and the scent of formaldehyde, lay Glyndwr Michael. His lifeless body, now just another statistic, was about to become a pivotal piece in a grand wartime deception. A Welshman from humble beginnings, down on his luck and driven to despair, Michael had ingested rat poison. His life, marked by hardship and struggle, had ended in a tragic and lonely manner. He died alone and forgotten, a tragedy of war unfolding far from the battlefields. Yet, in the midst of global conflict, his death would not be in vain. The intelligence officers saw in him a chance to turn the tide of war.
In the eyes of the intelligence officers, however, Michael's tragedy presented a unique opportunity. They needed someone who could convincingly play the role of a fallen officer, and Michael fit the bill perfectly. His body, relatively unscathed and bearing a close resemblance to the profile they had in mind, was exactly what Operation Mincemeat needed. The plan was audacious, but if executed correctly, it could change the course of the war. Michael was to be reborn as Major William Martin, a fictitious officer in the Royal Marines. This new identity was not just a name, it was a carefully constructed persona, complete with a backstory and personal effects. His new identity, meticulously crafted, was designed to withstand the scrutiny of German intelligence. Every document, every piece of evidence had to be perfect. Every detail, from the carefully forged identity card to the seemingly mundane personal effects, was a brushstroke in a masterpiece of deception. Letters from a fictitious fiancé, photographs, and even a receipt for a new shirt, all were part of the elaborate ruse.
The success of Operation Mincemeat hinged on the believability of Major Martin's persona. The intelligence officers knew that the smallest inconsistency could unravel their entire plan. The line between audacious success and catastrophic failure was razor-thin, and the stakes could not have been higher. The fate of countless lives and the outcome of the war itself hung in the balance, balanced on the authenticity of a dead man's fabricated life. The meticulous planning and attention to detail were crucial. Every aspect of Major Martin's life had to be believable, from his military background to his personal relationships. As the final preparations were made, the tension among the intelligence officers was palpable. They knew that once Major Martin was set adrift, there would be no turning back. The success of Operation Mincemeat would depend on whether the Germans believed the story they had so carefully crafted. With everything in place, Major William Martin, formerly Glyndwr Michael, was ready to embark on his final mission. His body, carrying the weight of a nation's hopes, was set to deceive the enemy and alter the course of history. Transforming Glyndwr Michael into Major William Martin was a macabre dance between science and stagecraft. The team worked tirelessly, racing against time, their every action shrouded in secrecy. Michael's body was preserved, dressed in a meticulously chosen uniform and equipped with a meticulously curated collection of personal effects.
A photograph of a fictional fiancée, Pam, was tucked into his pocket, a touch of humanity to make the fabricated life complete. Love letters, theatre ticket stubs, unpaid bills, the mundane detritus of everyday life were all carefully planted to build a convincing illusion of a life lived and a man loved.
The briefcase, chained to Major Martin's wrist, contained the true heart of the deception-forged documents, outlining a planned Allied invasion of Greece, not Sicily, the real target. This was the bait, designed to lure Hitler's forces away from the true prize. Every element of the deception was meticulously scrutinized, debated, and rehearsed. The weight of the world, quite literally, rested on their shoulders. Under the cloak of darkness, a British submarine slipped silently through the icy waters of the Atlantic, its engines humming softly as it cut through the waves. The crew, seasoned and resolute, knew the gravity of their mission. They were not just navigating the treacherous waters, they were steering the course of history. Inside the submarine, the atmosphere was tense but focused. The vessel carried its secret cargo. Not torpedoes or mines, but the hopes and anxieties of a nation clinging to the faint promise of victory. Every sailor on board understood the significance of their covert operation, codenamed Operation Mincemeat.
On April 30th, 1943, off the coast of Spain, Major William Martin, or rather, the meticulously prepared body of Glyndwr Michael, was readied for his final mission. The body was dressed in a Royal Marine uniform, complete with personal effects that painted a convincing picture of a British officer. With great care and solemnity, the body was gently lowered into the sea. The waves lapped against the lifeless form, carrying it towards its intended destination. The crew watched in silence, knowing that this moment was the culmination of months of meticulous planning and preparation.
The body, fitted with a life jacket, was carefully positioned to wash ashore on a stretch of Spanish coastline. This particular stretch was chosen for its strategic importance, as it was known to be frequented by German agents. The success of the mission hinged on the body being discovered by the right people. The plan was audacious, relying on a delicate dance between chance and careful orchestration. The British intelligence officers had crafted an elaborate backstory for Major Martin, complete with love letters, official documents, and even a photograph of a fiancée. Every detail was designed to deceive. The Spanish authorities, though officially neutral in the conflict, were known to be sympathetic to the German cause. This meant that any information recovered from the body would likely find its way into German hands. The British were counting on this, hoping that the false documents would mislead the enemy.
The Spanish authorities, though officially neutral in the conflict, were known to be sympathetic to the German cause. This meant that any information recovered from the body would likely find its way into German hands. The British were counting on this, hoping that the false documents would mislead the enemy. The fate of Operation Mincemeat, and with it, the lives of countless soldiers, now rested on the currents of the ocean and the effectiveness of their elaborate ruse. The British intelligence officers waited with bated breath, knowing that the success of their mission could turn the tide of the war.
The currents of the ocean carried the body towards the Spanish shore, where it would be discovered by local fishermen. The British hoped that the documents would be passed on to the German agents, who would believe the false information and divert their forces away from the true invasion point. The success of Operation Mincemeat was a testament to the ingenuity and bravery of the British intelligence officers. Their elaborate ruse had the potential to save countless lives and change the course of the war. As the body drifted towards the shore, the fate of the mission hung in the balance, waiting to be discovered by the right hands. The documents were whisked away to Berlin, subjected to intense scrutiny by the best minds in the German intelligence apparatus. The experts pored over every detail, every word, every inflection, searching for telltale signs of a forgery. Unknown to the Germans, their every move was being shadowed by the watchful eyes of the British, their communications intercepted and decoded by the brilliant minds at Bletchley Park. The tension in the war room was palpable, a suffocating silence punctuated by the frantic clatter of typewriters and the hushed whispers of codebreakers. The fate of Operation Mincemeat and the lives of countless soldiers poised for the invasion of Sicily hung precariously in the balance. Yet the Germans, blinded by their own confidence and desperate for any advantage in the vast chess game of war, seized upon the information with hungry eyes. The documents, retrieved from Major Martin's body, were quickly passed on to German intelligence. The details seemed too perfect, too convenient. The bait had been swallowed hook, line, and sinker. Hitler, convinced by the intelligence gleaned from Major Martin's briefcase, redirected troops, ships, and even his most trusted commanders to Greece, bolstering defenses in anticipation of an Allied invasion that would never come. On July 10, 1943, under the scorching Sicilian sun, Allied forces stormed ashore, encountering far less resistance than anticipated. The element of surprise, so carefully crafted and so painstakingly preserved, had been achieved. The liberation of Europe, long awaited and hard fought, had begun. Operation Mincemeat had worked. The Germans, duped by a corpse and a web of meticulously crafted lies, had fallen victim to one of the most audacious and successful wartime deceptions in history. The victory in Sicily marked a turning point in the war. The seemingly impregnable fortress of Nazi-occupied Europe had been breached. Operation Mincemeat remains one of the most ingenious and daring deceptions in military history. It serves as a testament to the human capacity for creativity, courage, and cunning in the face of overwhelming odds. The story of Glyndwr Michael, the forgotten Welshman who became the unlikely hero of Operation Mincemeat, serves as a poignant reminder of the human cost of war. His sacrifice, though unintentional, played a crucial role in the Allied victory. Operation Mincemeat is a testament to the power of intelligence, the weight of deception, and the enduring truth that even in the darkest hours of war, hope can emerge from the most unexpected of places. The legacy of Operation Mincemeat lives on, not just in the annals of military history, but in the spirit of innovation and daring that it embodies. The operation, shrouded in secrecy for decades after the war, captured the imagination of the world.